What's up, everybody? Welcome to IGN Game Scoop. I'm your host, Damon Hatfield. Joining me this week is Justin Davis
Scoop.
and Sam Claiborne.
Aim Coop.
It is Aim Coop. It is a Scoop trio this week. Very busy day in the office. Lots of people are sick. Lots of people are out at events, playing games, heads down, working on features. So we have a little bit smaller group, but no less great a show for you this week. We're going to talk about God of War. I just God of War. We got.
Have you used that one before?
No, I thought of that earlier today.
Okay, all right.
We're going to talk about Cuphead and other difficult games, notoriously difficult games. But first, Xbox Game Pass. Is it the future? Is it the future of video games? Some think it is. Microsoft has unveiled that all Microsoft Studios games going forward will be a part of Xbox Game Pass on release day. Xbox Game Pass is, of course, Microsoft's Netflix-like subscription service, which offers access to a selection of Xbox One and 360 games for a monthly fee. I think it's $10 a month.
$9.99.
And this starts with Sea of Thieves, which is out March 20th, but there's a closed beta going on now. Sea of Thieves is a $60 game. So,
And then it ends with that because what else is coming out?
well, okay, but there's also there's 100 games in Xbox Game Pass.
But the
right
new
now.
news is that there's just every new Microsoft game.
Every new Microsoft Studios game will be a part of Xbox Game Pass on release day. Seems like a pretty good value. $10 a month would get you access to Sea of Thieves and then this other 100 games.
And you
that are
still have
already
to
out there.
pay games with gold.
Well,
Or I mean, you still have to pay for Xbox Live gold.
you
do.
have to, or if you want to play online.
Yeah, if you want to play online.
Yeah, if you want to play online. Yeah, for sure.
So for Sea of Thieves, for instance.
For Sea of Thieves, yeah, with a big online game.
Yeah, so I mean, for them, it's like all great because they get the money for these games without going to retail, and they get probably Xbox Live subscriptions, which is a year. They get all that, and that's all good for them. It's really scary for retailers.
Scary for retailers. I want to
Scary for single-player games.
for single-player games.
If you're making, so we've been talking about the $60 single-player game, and that was the whole topic of Scoop, 2-3 weeks ago.
That's a good one.
If you release a $60 game that's on Xbox Game Pass, wouldn't people surely rather than just pay $9.99, play through it, and then cancel that service for the month?
Yeah. But I think Microsoft has been demonstrating they're really interested in those long tail games that just keep people coming back day after day to play.
Thieves.
PUBG, Sea of Thieves,
Well, and, I mean,
Fortnite.
I think it's I do think this is really cool, and I think it's really great. And yes, I think it's the future of games.
There you go.
We solved it.
You agree, yeah.
But like you see a company like Netflix, even how like it's so easy to forget that it was like 5 years ago that their first Netflix original ever came out. They had House of Cards and Orange Is the New Black. 5-6 years. I mean, it's a newish thing.
And then it was
now,
like Arrested Development is like right at the same time, right?
Now every single week, like they've gotten so sophisticated about like. And it's not a coincidence that there's one new sci-fi-ish fantasy show, once a month or so. There's one thing if you're really into comedies or sitcoms or television like that, once a month or so. Like they do that stuff so that you're always getting your subscriptions worth. And if you're thinking about maybe I should cancel Netflix, Altered Carbon is only 2 weeks away, so you might as well stick around and watch that.
Yeah.
And I think we'll see Microsoft. If this takes off and does well for them, and if they really think it's the future of their business, there's no need to backload games all in, October, November, December. Like you might see them try to have a steady drip of game releases.
That's
all
a good
throughout
call.
The year.
That's like the summer of arcade when it was like, oh, there's actually good games all summer, and it was well thought out and distributed. I love that.
That was such a fun thing every year. Why did Microsoft cancel that?
I don't know, but it could come back with something like this.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
Yeah, perhaps it could come back. So this will include Sea of Thieves. It will also include State of Decay 2 and Crackdown 3, which are supposed to be out this year. The inevitable next Forza game, the inevitable next Halo and Gears of War games. These will all be included in this Xbox Game Pass on day one.
That's crazy. I mean, can you cancel it freely?
I mean, I think
That's
so,
what I
yeah.
do with I'm watching Star Trek Discovery right now. I don't need a CBS, whatever it's called, all access subscription at all.
Yeah.
I'm not going to watch anything else on CBS. So I kind of wait until a few episodes are out, and then I try to watch, for the entire month I'm paying, and then get out.
Yeah.
And can you do that with, a couple games at one point?
Well, so
We're also going to count on, I can't speak for anyone else, but in my house, I subscribe to HBO Now only for Game of Thrones. But then I accidentally kept it for like 3 more months. And I'm
That's
like,
the
well,
intention
great.
of all subscription services.
Yeah, that cost me like, I don't know what it cost me. It would have cost me $75 if I had it for 5 months. And it's like,
Yeah,
well,
you could have got the DVD set.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that concerns me about going digital in general is that, like, I know not everybody is into physical copies as much as I am. But what about the collector's editions?
yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
that's true.
if we go fully digital, will collector's editions get better because they want to really attract people to them, or will they become obsolete because there won't be disc drives? Like, that's
Collector's
interesting.
editions are really crazy now. And I think we're already seeing, like you just touched on it, like what this is really going to eat away at is just the standard $60 game. Like the really high end, if you're a super fan that want the figurine and the
Yeah, that's a good
collectible,
point.
like there's never going to be a replacement for that. You
Yeah.
know, like that's always going to be a market that gets served, a small but lucrative market.
Yeah, for sure.
But to just buy, a $60 game or $48 game on Amazon, like,
Yeah. Yeah, so if Xbox Game Pass is $10 a month, $120 a year, if you just play 2 full price games with that service, it's paid for itself there. So I mean, it seems to be a good deal. If you're an Xbox owner, I almost don't know why you wouldn't subscribe to this.
Or you could pay $10, play 100 games,
Yeah.
1 month.
and just bounce.
You have 1 month,
1 month.
and then you just bounce.
Well, see, I mean, that's also a very
What
good
a
value.
deal.
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
I'm waiting for them to be some catch for like if you let your subscription lapse, it like eats your game saves or something like that. Like,
Yeah, well, I mean, I assume it's like PS Plus, where your subscription ends, you lose access to the games. And,
Yeah.
Isn't there something like right now we all have like huge libraries of games, like on Steam, for instance, all the games you bought but never play.
Yeah.
If you emulate games, people like always have this same issue where it's like you have this big, like say you get every NES game ever. It's like, okay, the ones you like, probably 20 of them. You maybe want to explore the rest, and then there's 640 that you're like never gonna play or didn't even know what to play.
like more isn't necessarily better.
Yeah,
like
like having the
curated
library
list.
isn't that great.
It's almost. I mean, I've run into that. Like, I have a SNES Classic where it's the greatest games ever made. All in one little box. I mean, I'm exaggerating a little bit there, but among the greatest
Good
games
game.
ever made in one box. And that's actually more valuable and a cooler experience than having a Raspberry Pi that has every SNES game on it. So
Yeah, I mean, I think there's certain type of people that need it narrowed down. But that's like if I had 100 Xbox games at my disposal right now, I probably wouldn't play a lot of them.
So I actually think the interface there is a non-trivial detail to make sure that it's like surfacing cool and interesting. If it's curated in individual taste, if you're a shooter fan or whatever, maybe they can do
Yeah.
a good job of like presenting you like, hey, did you ever play, I don't know, The Syndicate
That's
or whatever?
what Netflix
Like,
has to do, right?
yeah, and that's what Netflix really leans hard into. And they also do that to obfuscate the fact that there's not actually that much stuff on Netflix. Like their interface is designed to not let you, like, I just want to see every comedy movie you have.
Yeah, like HBO allows you to do that, but
Yeah.
Netflix doesn't.
Yeah, I don't like the interface at all, and I super don't like. I don't know why we're talking about Netflix.
because
although
there's
it's
parallels here, right?
But we're going
Like,
on a little bit of tangent. I was just going to complain about how I hate how everything auto plays a trailer.
With
You
sound.
can't turn that, yeah, it's like what?
It's terrible.
It's so stupid. And I've looked around. You can't turn that feature off. It's like
I
I'm
was,
just browsing. I don't want to hear the audio of every single thing I'm looking at.
Or like, and sometimes for like, I noticed I just started watching End of the Effing World, and
Which is good, by the way. I recommend
yeah,
that.
but the trailer was kind of playing while I was like, we were getting ready to watch and stuff like that, and it's the whole first episode.
It's like you should
and I
know-
knew what happened in the first episode after that.
Yeah,
It spoiled it for me.
yeah. It's really annoying.
With audio. I was just like, gosh.
There's all kinds of neat, like once you start paying attention to UI and how it works and its tricks, they like Netflix in particular does a lot of clever stuff. Like whatever you're watching most recently, whatever you most recently watched, when you fire up Netflix, it won't ever be the first thing you see. It's always the second thing you see.
I noticed
So
that,
it forces you to like take a look at one thing that you're not watching
they-
yet first.
They do a trailer like in the movie theater, basically.
yeah.
Yeah, but they don't trick you. They're just like you just tab over and then watch the thing, but they
Yeah.
force you to notice something else first.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, we have an email on this topic from Stuart Hooper. He's from England, but living in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Good.
He says, I'm a very long time listener, but first time emailer. The future of the gaming industry just crashed through the TV screens of Xbox gamers everywhere, with Microsoft announcing that all first-party games will be coming to Xbox Game Pass the very same day they are released. So this year, Crackdown 3, Sea of Thieves, and State of Decay 2 will all be available on the service from day one.
We'll see about Crackdown.
I'd
We'll
argue-
see.
This is Stuart saying, I'd argue this is the biggest development in the gaming industry in a very long time. This is how publishers are going to kill off retail stores and the pre-owned games market in one fell swoop. Imagine big publishers like Ubisoft, EA, and Activision following suit with exactly the same subscription model for their games. If people are paying around $25 a month in total for this collection of subscription services, why would anyone go out and drop $60 on just one game? It is likely that the adoption rate for these services will grow and grow, while sales of games will slowly decline. However, we will no longer technically own our games. Publishers are unlikely to go exclusively with the subscription model to access their games right away, but could we be seeing a future where the next generation of consoles will have more people licensing games via a subscription service than buying their very own copies? Then further into the future, might subscription services be the only way to get games? Justin, you were saying you agree this is the future.
Yeah, I mean, whether it's good nor bad, like I kind of don't know. Like it could go either direction, but I think it's very likely to only become a bigger and bigger portion of the video game industry. Like, what was his name?
Stuart.
Yeah, like Stuart said.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the crossing of the Rubicon, or the big test will be if a game is only available on a subscription service, and then we really are looking at a model that's more.
That's interesting.
more
Then you're
like
talking about like a
cable
Netflix.
Then they
thing.
want to pull you on to their subscription service.
So Microsoft says,
that's what
exclusively
console
available on
exclusives are.
Game Pass is, Super Meat Boy 2 or whatever, and then it's no different than, than a television show only being available on HBO.
And that already happens with, digital only games. It's just not part of the subscription service. Maybe those all will be. But
I just hope it's not a separate service for every publisher, because I don't need.
it will be.
It will be.
That's not, I just want one. I just want to pay for one.
That's what's so ridiculous right now about it.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
TV is so weird right now.
Yeah, it's annoying.
Everything is terrible, man. Like, because EA has
Everything is terrible.
I mean, EA has EA Origin, and Blizzard has always had BattleNet, but now there's a non-Blizzard game, an Activision game. Destiny 2 is on BattleNet, and Uplay, and Bethesda has their own launcher.
Well, I mean, this isn't quite the same thing, but Nintendo is also working on something similar, like some sort of game subscription service with its online
Well, that's
model.
been, I don't even know that it is a rumor, but that's been the speculation. Why is Virtual Console taking so long?
Yeah.
A common theory is that they're having a similar, subscription service, pay $10 a month and get access to.
Well, and they said that there is a subscription service that they announced,
Yeah.
which is like 2 retro games a month.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, they did announce that whole
hopefully that
program with the
expands.
online play and yada yada. But I'm thinking more like a Netflix, like with your subscription comes access to every Mario. game
Nintendo
or
has such a
whatever.
good library for that. And other people don't. Like, it's such a brilliant idea.
Yeah.
Dude, Toys R Us closing this week.
I know.
So many of them.
Yeah.
Like a fifth or something.
Like 180
Speaking of
stores are
retailers
closing.
dying.
Yeah. Toys R Us is bankrupt. It's crazy. It's hard times out there.
You know why?
For retail.
It's Babies R Us that ruined them.
Babies R Us ruined them.
It's very sad.
I mean,
I
yeah.
have such good Toys R Us memories. It's where I demoed games.
Yeah. I have a lot of good Toys R Us.
Like, that's what you would do. You would go to a retail place and play a new game. I played Ocarina of Time at Best Buy, played Mario 64 at Toys R Us. I remember it so well.
Guitar Hero.
I played Tetris at Toys R Us. I remember on a giant Game Boy.
Yeah, what I didn't like is their system was one where you had to they didn't have the
Slips?
game box.
Game slips.
You had to get the game slips and take it up to the
Yeah.
front. There are other stores that actually had the games hanging.
Dude, so that switched over in the middle of the NES.
Yeah.
And I remember some stores didn't do it. Some that was like in Arizona when I moved to Arizona when I was a kid. They did it there, and I thought it was really weird because NES games have a little tab on the back.
Yeah.
When they're sealed,
Exactly.
they're all hung up, and you'd see like there'd be like a rack.
Yeah.
And like every single game, was there in quantity, and then you could see how many were missing. And when they replaced it, you could never see how many.
Yeah.
Like pieces of paper were missing. So it was kind of a popularity.
Yeah, that's
gauge
interesting.
for that.
Yeah.
It was so beautiful. Can you imagine that? 3 cabinets of brand new NES games?
Yes,
That was
I can
quite a
I
sight.
can see it.
It was quite a sight.
All right, moving on. We've got a release date finally for God of War on PS4. It's just God of War. It's out 4/20, April 20th, the same day as Nintendo Labo. So we got a tough decision.
And Super Troopers 2,
Yeah.
Tough decision to make.
which is probably the most synced up with that holiday.
That's probably the most 420.
and I'm using holiday loosely.
Well,
entertainment option on that day.
Yeah.
Yes, we've known it's supposed to be coming in early 2018 for some time.
it does feel a little bit later than I would have guessed, but it's not Q1. It's a ways into
Yeah.
Q2 actually.
It's true. It's currently the only big game scheduled for April. Well, only a big game that has an actual release date in April, not counting Nintendo Labo, which is kind of a different thing.
And we don't know much about those games.
Yeah, we know it's cardboard.
One of them could be Metroid Prime 4. We don't know.
And then there was
You got to
Yes.
build it.
Metroid Prime 4's
You
Labo.
build the game
You want
yourself.
Metroid Prime 4? You build it. And then there was a new trailer for God of War. I didn't watch it. You watched it, Sam?
Yeah.
So I like, you know.
It's a story trailer.
Yeah.
So it has Kratos talking very normally instead of just screaming Zeus.
Good.
Yeah.
Which is unusual. You don't see that much.
Yeah.
Screaming his son instead.
Yeah, they really give away a lot. So I don't want to talk about it too much if you want to keep it on blackout. But the plot of like who his son is and like what he, if he's Kratos' son, like Kratos is a god of war. It's in the title.
Yep.
Like
It's
what
all
does that
right
mean
there.
for his son? Is he a half human? Then that's I think what the game will be about.
I think,
And monsters.
the story trailer is obviously deliberately trying to get people to talk about the lore and story and how this game carries on from the others. But as it gets closer to release, I'm seeing a lot more people talk about. Prior to this, all the attention and focus had been on the gameplay systems and the combat and the new cool axe you have and how it's not a fixed perspective anymore. And now people are finally starting to dig more into, well, wait, what does it actually mean that he's switched mythologies and how is that possible? And,
Yeah, is he covering his tracks? Or
and
like,
where
is there
did
some
the
story behind that?
And where did the what were they called? The chains that he used in the previous games. It's escaping me now.
Chain blades?
Is that what they were? They had an actual. Anyway, the point is they're not there
Do they
anymore.
have a name?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because you
sure
switch
they
between the big sword and the
Yeah. And his and he's got his arms are bandaged up, and it's like, well, okay, like is this game gonna get into like what happened? Like, so now, I mean, I'm not like God of War has the deepest lore, but
they're
it is
trying
like
to
a
make you
long running
think about that
franchise,
more.
and it's interesting, and
Zeus,
I'm definitely curious to learn more.
Ares.
They're so silly.
That'll probably be in there. And then it also shows some like cool, like kind of gross creature designs.
I like that.
One of them's like a guy in a tree, and he's like, "You gotta cut off my head." This is what happens. It's a laugh moment in the trailer.
Yeah, like
Weird.
Hilarious.
It's a weird game. Like I like that. Remember the big snake?
Yeah.
the big bearded dragon.
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
I loved him.
Yeah. Like that stuff. It's just there's some kookiness to it, which I think that series needs.
Yeah.
What also opens the door for like now that mythology switching is a thing, like okay, they've laid the groundwork for like 20 more years of God of War games now. Like now that he's not relegated to just killing Greek gods.
Yeah.
When you watch the trailer, tell me if you feel the influence of The Last of Us in it.
Well, but here's the thing. Like I'm already interested in that game. Like I'm already on board. I want to play it day one, so I don't really need to.
You
watch
have to read the
more.
rewind script, so might as well.
Is that true?
No, I don't know.
That is something I don't think people often consider. Is a lot of stuff has to get spoiled for us as part of our jobs.
Yeah,
here at
it's
IGN.
horrible. Every movie my wife ever sees, she's like, "Do you already know what's gonna happen in this?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah, I mean, first of all, everyone's just talking about it in the office all the time. The morning after.
But we also
sometimes
speculate.
Yeah. Also, even if we haven't heard people talking about it, I may have to like read a review for The Last Jedi before I even go see it. If I'm required for the VO reading or whatever. So
And that makes
things
us
like
a little
happen all
bit
the time.
less sensitive to spoilers, and we try really hard to not give them.
Yeah.
And so, always apologetic when we do, but it's also just kind of the nature of covering media.
Many, many perks of this job. Unfortunately, a few downsides. One of which is like, everything that's gonna happen in a game before you even get a chance to play it.
For me, it's a perk.
Yeah. You don't care about spoilers at all. You didn't even
No.
care about spoilers for Star Wars.
No, I don't, because we grew up in a time where I loved hearing my friend describe to me how awesome a movie was and then going to see it. I like that.
Anyway, God of War out 420. I think God of War looks really fun. I look forward to playing it. Let's check in with the listeners.
Hey, listeners.
Hey,
Listeners, remember you can always reach us at the email address gamescoop@ign.com, just like Big Tony style.
Big Tony
Hey,
style.
what a twist. Impossible.
been a while. I
That's
know.
impossible.
He's been dead 20 years.
Big Tony Style says, I love gaming in January because there aren't a ton of major releases and it's a great time to catch up on all the 2017 games I missed.
Same, Tony.
That being said, there is one game on my list that I will likely never play. Persona 5.
Oh,
I was
boy.
gonna say. Yeah, I could have guessed it.
I've never played a Persona game, and while it may be shallow of me, I cannot look past the art style and commit 70 hours to playing a game people absolutely adore. Yeah, he doesn't like the art style.
Oh,
Big Tony
Tony.
style. Hard disagree.
That is.
The art style is so cool. That's like one of
Yeah.
the coolest things about that game.
Yeah.
It's like the art and the music and the
I got in
whole
trouble
vibe.
for talking about this in the office, so I'm not going to anymore.
Okay.
Andrew got really upset at me.
Big Tony Style says, I'm curious if the Scoop Crew have come across a game that is widely praised, but you cannot bring yourself to play. If so, what game was it and why?
I mean,
You got one.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I can't let. It's very wild to me. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm actually not a huge Persona 5 fan because I'm not a huge JRPG fan. So by extension, Persona just didn't do it for me. But the art is like I didn't know that there was anybody out there that didn't like that aesthetic. No, it's funny that I didn't know that we were reading this question. We were just chatting about it before the show started. Sometimes
Big Tony style knows.
Big Tony style. Is that how he always?
Maybe he hasn't seen Morgana. Is Morgana so charming?
Yeah, Morgana's really good.
It's a cat.
Yeah, little
Talking
cat.
cat.
Your cat buddy. Your cat buddy has a bandana.
Yeah.
That might sell you on it.
We were just talking before the show recorded about how one of my pet peeves are sometimes people talk about, games that will appeal to you even if you don't normally like that kind of game. Like even if you're not a shooter fan, you should check out, whatever, Titanfall 2 because it does so many special things that it's worth checking out. And then I get fooled by that. I say I'm not a JRPG fan, but I'm still going to try out Persona. And then I try it out and I say, nope, still don't like it.
Yeah.
Still not for me. But then sometimes the inverse is true. Sometimes it's like, oh, okay, even though this isn't normally my taste, this one's able to sort of transcend that and, go over with me. So you never know until you try.
But is there a specific game?
For what? His actual question was,
Is there a game that's very popular?
Are you saying you don't have to? Because there's a difference, like trying a game and saying, like, I knew I wouldn't like this, and then I didn't
like
like
I'm
it.
They're talking about not even trying.
Oh, well, for
even
me,
good,
it's
yeah.
horror games. It's like I can understand and respect the style of Resident Evil and the Louisiana, like, that backwoods. Like, that's all really cool and fascinating. But no, I'm not interested in horror games at all.
Yeah.
But sometimes you have to have a game kind of turn you off to that series of games. Like, I think you're using the JRPG example. If you have a couple bad experiences with that, you're like, maybe I won't be playing those anymore.
Fool me once.
Yeah, I
Shame
feel
on
that
you.
way about Dark Souls, although I did try 2 of them.
Same.
Oh.
That was like everyone's like, okay, even if you don't, that's another
But
perfect
I'm not going to play them
example.
again. Like, nobody's ever really convinced me to go back into it.
It's a perfect example.
What about
where they're like,
remastered on Switch?
Well, that's what's happening with Monster Hunter right now too. Is that like people are saying go back and try this game now. Everything's different. But we were watching videos of the combat looking exactly.
Seems very suspiciously not different.
Yeah.
No, Dark Souls is such a perfect example of the phenomenon I was just talking about, where everyone's like, even if you've not been into those games in the past, try Bloodborne. It's different. That'll probably go over with you.
Oh
better.
yeah, and I never tried that.
And then
because of that very same reason.
And then I tried Bloodborne. I'm like, nope, still don't like it.
Yeah.
But I really respect people's opinions on those games, and I know why they like them now. So that's what's cool, is that I feel like it's good to have an educated opinion of why you don't like it, and then know why other people like it, and like to each his or her own.
Sure.
I'm not bashing Dark Souls. I'm not saying that those people are wrong. It's just not for me.
I would like to hear your account of why people like the Souls and Bloodborne games, just out of my personal interest.
Oh, I think it's because it offers a very difficult but bite-sized series of challenges. So it's like you can do these kind of runs in it, right? And that it's like you can go, I'm going to get just this far and then retreat. And that feels really good. And because you do that, you keep pushing until you get to like another save point. And then it's like you made progress. And it's this good feeling of like how difficult it was to get to the next progress point.
That sounds like SteamWorld Dig.
Or I was going to say it's Castlevania. And the later Castlevania was like Ecclesia,
like Symphony of the
and
Night style. Yeah.
is like it was all about like just barely making it to a save room.
Yeah, that's
you
true.
know, and I get really excited about that. But it's also a 3D game that the combat never feels good to me.
Yeah.
It always feels like I'm rolling so slow and I'm blocking right when I missed the animation. And you can get used to all that. I'm sure it's fun.
Yeah, sure. That's interesting. For me, widely praised games that I cannot bring myself to play would be any competitive multiplayer shooter like PUBG, Fortnite, League of Legends, or even like League of Legends. Not a shooter, I realize, but any sort of like very competitive online game is just not going to be for me.
What about Splatoon?
No, I've never played Splatoon.
Yeah, I mean, I think in video games in general and the discussion around video games, I wish there was a little bit more, accounting for recognition of taste. No one would ever
Fans
argue.
of the genre.
That's true. But I mean, if someone's like, have you been to this new food place yet? And you're like, no, I just don't really like seafood that much. And I'd be like, oh, okay, fair enough. But in video games, people kind of lose their minds, around, if you don't like or couldn't get into an immensely popular game. You know, I used the example of Resident Evil 4 earlier. Like, that's a game that I've tried to play 2 or 3 times and just couldn't get into it. And other people love it so much that they keep insisting, well, you must be playing it wrong, or I wish you would give it another chance. And I'm like, look, it's not for me. Like, that's not, I can recognize what the game does well, but in video games in general, I don't think there's enough. It's a little bit more hive-mindy than I think it should be.
I would love. I always try new things and just to kind of check back in with stuff. I never would go full blackout, but I'll be distrustful of Dark Souls for a while. But I tried Overwatch and it was exactly what I thought it would.
That's another
be.
one I've never played.
I mean, it's exactly like, okay, if you have a bunch of friends and you play this every night, it's going to be your life, and that makes total sense. But I don't play games that way.
Yeah.
I do think Overwatch, Damon, I'm going to do the exact same thing I decried other people for doing. But I do think, for me personally, this has been my experience, is that Overwatch is sort of the non-shooter fans' shooter, because you can be really skilled and successful at that games by playing in a relatively low-skilled way. Like, I play as Symmetra, and all she does is put turrets on the wall.
That's really smart.
And you don't need to have any aiming skill at all. And there's some strategy around where you're putting the turrets, but really it's just a very, very different experience than if you're playing one of the shooty characters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think you might like it.
You've mentioned that before, and maybe you're right, but that doesn't, it doesn't get around the fact that my gaming habits and experience are like a very solo, just like sitting on my couch by myself, relaxing, that sort of environment. So, anyway.
Big Tony Style mentioned it as just sort of an aside, but I completely agree with him on January, by the way.
January's, yeah.
It's a really wonderful month. I love
well
gaming in January because there's no pressure to keep up, I'm falling behind on Assassin's Creed or whatever the big Q4 game is.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just
until this week, in which Dragon Ball and Monster Hunter come out.
Well, it's usually, not everywhere in the world, but it's typically kind of horrible weather. So, you're not wanting to be out and about anyway. It's a slowish time for work, slowish time for games, just very leisurely. Play whatever you want.
Yep. All right, this is Evan from Rockville, Maryland. And he says, I recently picked up Cuphead on Xbox because all the reviews said it's a must-have. However, I just cannot seem to get anywhere with Cuphead. I barely got to World 2, and I've probably spent 2+ hours on just one boss level. I quit and went to play the new Assassin's Creed because I know there's an intriguing story. And I can make actual progress, and I generally enjoy the mechanics of the series. I feel bad about not being good at Cuphead, like I'm a lesser gamer, because I just have no interest in spending multiple hours trying to perfect one level and getting super frustrated when in the same amount of time I could play something else. Should I feel this way? I'd be interested in your thoughts on this and hard games in general. Evan from Rockville.
I think you just don't want to have the feeling like you're wasting time. Even if you don't beat the boss or you don't make it to the next bonfire in Dark Souls, as long as you feel like you're improving or you got closer, then I think people's tolerance level for trying over and over again is kind of okay. But if you don't even feel like you're getting anywhere, if it's I don't feel my skills improving, I don't feel like I'm getting any better, then it's easy to understand how that could feel immensely frustrating.
I mean, it's the same discussion. Different people like very different things in games. And for some people, repetitive difficulty is the thing that draws them in. I remember Chloe wrote an op-ed on why Dark Souls isn't fun.
Yeah.
And she likes it anyway. She's not playing it because it's fun. She's playing it because it's challenging or, disturbing or there's all these other reasons. It's just watching a dramatic movie. You don't go there because it's fun. It might take you out of yourself, or it might teach you something.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be fun. Cuphead, I didn't find fun. And I found it beautiful and intriguing, and I loved watching it. But I got pretty far in that game, and it's not very rewarding. And I don't feel like I got better at it. And that is a problem.
Yeah, my wife hates seeing me get angry at a video game. She always just tries to get me to turn it off. Yeah. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. I actually don't have I have a pretty low tolerance level for, challenge. And if I die a handful of times, I'll go play something else, typically in 2018 now. But even so, she tries to pull me away. And every gamer knows sometimes it's fun to die and try again. And it's funny trying to explain that to someone that's not really into the hobby.
Yeah.
I think you need to have a community when you have a difficult game. And that's why Pac-Man Championship Edition was so fun, and everybody's playing online, or Geometry Wars before that. Yeah. When you have a leaderboard, that really helps. And then when Mario came in the office, everybody played it. And it was fun saying, how many moons do you have? How far did you get? Talking about the really difficult parts of that game. You need to have that kind of it feels good to be better than other people at games, no matter what, right? So whether that's a competitive game that's intended that way or just one that you're discussing, I think that's a really important part of it. Cuphead, like the people that got good at Cuphead in the office, I was like super impressed by them. And they clearly were having fun. Like Lily got so good at that game and she got like just plowed through it, played it over and over again, got better and better and better. And I was like, it was so cool watching her play and being impressed by that and stuff like that. So I can totally see why she was having a great time with that game.
Yeah.
She's great at it.
But Evan, like, you don't have to worry about being a lesser gamer. I don't even know what that even means.
Unless you're in an arcade in 1981.
Yeah.
Your quarters on that machine. Then you're going to get shamed.
Yeah, it doesn't feel good for a game to defeat you, you know, and you put it down and move on. But I also, you know, there's
Also, I would point out, like, you don't owe the game anything.
Time is precious.
Yeah.
I mean, I've harped on this on Scoop before, but when you're not having fun with a game, throw it across the room, go walk away and play something else. Like
Or write an interesting op-ed.
You have this much time each day to play video games.
Yeah.
You know, so don't waste a moment of it on something where, you know, your heart's already trying to tell you.
And now you know the plight of the guide writer and the reviewer.
Well, yeah,
Keep playing it
that's different.
or you're fired.
The difference is you're being paid
Yeah, that's true.
in that scenario.
Yeah.
Unless
You don't finish your review.
This is Miguel from Sao Paulo,
Nice.
Brazil.
Cool.
Says longtime listener for over 3 years. First time writing. I have a question to the panel regarding the Nintendo Switch. I don't know if you heard, but Nintendo is not officially operating in Brazil, so it's a little hard and expensive to get a Switch and its games here. However, I will be developing part of my post-doctoral research in the US starting April or May this year and will stay there for 6 months. Because I will not bring my PS4, I thought this would be the perfect opportunity to get a Switch. So here's the deal. I have some time in advance so I can start saving money now to get the Switch and games and accessories. Let's say I'll have more or less $600 to spend. The Switch is currently $300, so that leaves me with another $300 exclusively for games and accessories. My question is, what do you and the panel think is the best way to spend this budget? Is there an accessory I absolutely have to buy, or should I spend everything in games? I should note that I intend to play it primarily in handheld mode, and that my favorite type of games are RPGs.
Is there a Kobayashi Maru here where you could play digitally once you have a Switch and just download stuff from the shop?
That's all I did.
Proxy?
I don't have any. I don't have one.
Like, I'm just wondering if you can get around that in Brazil. Because then you just pay, you know, it might be hard. But once you have a US Switch, you should probably be able to figure out how to use
you can
the
access
shop channel.
You can access the Japanese store just now. Anywhere in the US, you just set up an account.
Anyway, that's the cheat to this.
Yeah, that's
Well, yeah. That's
but it's a question of like what
Yeah,
to spend his
totally.
extra $300 on. I mean, I
So
think
he's gonna use it in handheld mode.
I think I'm the outlier here, but I don't have any Switch accessories at all. None.
I would say he should
I don't
get
even have a case.
I would suggest getting a case.
But-
I use a bandana,
That's what I was gonna say.
You
It's
need
like,
something to put it in.
a sock.
but I have a
Big
shoulder
sock.
bag. I have a messenger bag that I come to work on every day.
As a
And-
pocket.
Yeah, and surely every messenger bag, like it's 2018, almost every bag has some sort of spot to put an iPad or a
Yeah,
laptop.
it's a nice padded pocket.
I've never once felt the need for a Switch carrying case.
Okay. Well, if you have a backpack or something that has a slot for it, that's good. But don't just throw it in your backpack.
But here's what I will say is
I think you should do that too.
Philip and me and our tech writer actually collaborated on a best Nintendo Switch carrying case
Well, there you go.
feature, and it runs down like hard shell and soft options, and you can look that up if you do want a case.
I think
they're
you
only
need a
about-
battery pack.
I was gonna suggest that too. The cases are only like $12-15. So I think a battery pack that was also a good option.
For handheld, especially if he's going to play a lot in handheld.
Yeah, like I was just on a 6-hour flight and used a battery pack, no problems. It just played straight through. It still had battery when I got back to the house. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Extra controllers are
Those are $30.
very expensive, and if he's playing it like the Pro controller is one of the greatest game
God,
controllers
it's
of all
so
time. But
If he's
Handheld.
in handheld
yeah,
mode,
you don't need it.
and he likes RPGs,
Yeah.
so probably he's going to be doing a lot of single player gaming.
Yeah.
So I don't think you need to worry.
Dog
Yeah, I don't
attachment
think you
thing
need to
with
worry
the
about
case.
using or getting other controllers. But what about a memory card?
Yes, you'll
That's
need
another
an
$30.
You'll need
Yeah.
an SD card.
If for like a 32 gig SD
I
card,
think
it's going to
want
run
a
you
much-
like
want
$30.
You want a much bigger one than that.
120.
All right, 120. Then that's probably going to be $80.
No.
Something like that. No, not that much.
Well, I mean,
30.
I guess I bought mine on
Black
No.
Friday.
I think those prices are cheaper than you think they are.
Yeah,
I
they-
just looked before this. A 32 one on Amazon is $30.
Oh boy, no. I mean, wait for a sale then. Like, I mean, I guess maybe you
But,
can
I mean-
because you're going to be downloading the games, but yeah. I mean, those are things that are frequently on sale.
Yeah. And then
There's a lot of games.
that brings us to the games. You're going to want Zelda and Mario. I know you like RPGs, but you're going to want Mario
They're
too.
essential. They're the essentials.
Xenoblade if you like RPGs.
Xenoblade 2.
I would suggest Mario plus Rabbids.
Mario plus Rabbids Golf Story.
SteamWorld Dig 2, Stardew Valley, and Darkest Dungeon.
That's good. Along with the golf story. Yeah, I think that's great.
Man, what a great lineup.
I know. And I think all of that could be got for around $300.
Yeah,
Yeah, and there's used games now.
Yeah, that's true.
Zelda might be cheaper than it was when it came out.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fact that the Switch is region locked, but only in the sense that you need to be in the Japanese eShop account to download Japanese games, but you can do that from anywhere in the world. Makes me wonder if him being in Brazil, you touched on this earlier, like what's the cheapest just based off currency exchanges or whatever else? Like, should he just start from day one with a US account, or maybe there's a better option there? Like, I don't really know. I've never really dug into that much.
Yeah. That's
Like if you're in a country where you can't use your country's native store anyway because there isn't one, maybe there a little bit of thought needs to be given to like where do you keep most of your library, what region?
Yeah, although that's not really necessary. Like you don't even have to consider any of that if you're just playing like the base game of Zelda and Mario, right?
I don't know if they're different prices. Like that's what I'm saying. I really don't know.
You're talking about just downloading them. Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, Mikhail, let us know if you do end up getting a Switch and what accessories and games you end up selecting for it. And then, happy gaming and enjoy your Switch. And man, guys, I think that brings us to Video Game 20 questions. I think we're already here.
That happens when a quarter of the talking doesn't happen.
Yeah, that's true. We can just get through the topics really quickly. Our suggestion.
Stupid Marty bringing us down the whole time.
Stupid Marty.
That's his nickname. We could like to call him that around here.
Our suggestion this week comes from Eric Woody. Let the questioning begin.
No state?
No, you don't know. You're flying blind this week.
All right. In this game, does your character wear a hat?
You can. It's possible.
It's possible to have.
To wear a hat. Does your character speak?
I love it.
I think so.
Damon, you're killing me.
I think so.
For some reason, I feel like since it's only Sam that I'm letting down, I'm like so much more inclined to like. Do you collect and spend some money or currency of some kind in this game?
No.
Now we've had 3 sillies. I think.
Can you see your hands?
We already had that was the. Oh no, that wasn't the opening question.
Yes.
So let's recap. You can wear a hat. You see your hands. Damon thinks maybe you speak.
So.
And I already forgot to figure out the fourth one. Money.
Yeah, you don't collect and spend money.
Okay.
All right, it's Dig Dug.
He doesn't wear a hat.
Yeah, he has a space helmet.
Is that true?
Yeah, he's in a full suit.
In the game?
Yeah.
Or only on like the cabinet?
No, he's like walking around with goggles.
Weird.
Dude. Was this before 1990?
No.
Is this before 2000?
Yes.
90s game.
Was this released on 16-bit consoles?
No.
Interesting.
Game Boy.
Yeah, Game Boy or the generation after, PS1 era.
Was this a handheld game?
Nope.
Whoa.
Was this released for the PS1, Xbox, GameCube era consoles?
No. PS1, Nintendo 64.
Excuse me. Yeah, PS1, Nintendo 64 era.
Yes.
Okay. Was this on Nintendo 64?
Yes. That's 10.
Jet Force Gemini?
What? Maybe. Was this exclusively on the N64?
Yes.
Was it made by Nintendo?
No.
Is it a Japanese game?
Good question.
No.
Okay.
Should
Okay.
add the S's in a different order.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that was my bad. Okay, to recap. N64 exclusive, but not made by Nintendo, not made in Japan, which is actually good. That's actually gets us somewhere.
Could be rare.
Well, but
What
we
about
got
the
other-
Rockstar game?
We had the rare thing recently already.
Yeah.
I consider rare
Body
games
Harvest?
made by Nintendo, personally.
Space Station Silicon Valley.
So it's not first person because you can see your hands.
Mm-hmm.
So it's actually not GoldenEye, although maybe you can. I don't remember if you only see your gun or if you see your hand
Like
holding the gun.
when your knife comes out.
Yeah.
Do they have that? I don't remember that game at all. Was this a rare game?
Made by Rare?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Oh boy.
But Nintendo 64 games that aren't Nintendo, there's not a whole lot of them. There's like Cruising USA and
That's what I'm. Yeah, that's kind of. Yeah, you're right. Is the company that made this game still in business?
Man, I don't think so.
I don't know how much that helps me.
yeah, it could be like Atari or something.
Space Station Silicon Valley was made by DMA Design that would go on to be the GTA team.
Is that Rockstar's
Yeah.
GTA team?
Yeah.
I was wondering, and they made Body Harvest also, or is that not them?
Yes. I get a little bit mixed up about what the
I
different
think I'm wrong about that.
studios
I think
are
that might be
working
right.
on.
Okay.
We're
I
at
don't
15.
Know I don't know how to narrow this down.
I think that was DMA Design.
Does this have multiplayer?
Yes.
Good question.
What did you play?
What was that face?
Yes. What if it's like NBA Jam or Mortal Kombat?
Maybe I
or
was a
something?
little too enthusiastic.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat like trilogy or something like that. That would be horrible.
Yeah.
Is this game a part of a series?
Yes.
N64 exclusive Bomberman 64.
Yeah, that's
was
good.
made
That's
in Japan, though.
though.
And the way he said yes, I mean, I don't want to burn a question on it, but I have a sense that this game's
Yeah, big
particularly
multiplayer
notable for its multiplayer. What were some of the big 4-player?
Well, Rare did so many of them. It
Yeah,
sucks.
but and also like Mario Party, so it's not one of those.
Pokemon Puzzle League. It's all Japanese.
Yeah, not one of those. I'm trying to think about other like big multiplayer N64 games that were not you're not made by Nintendo.
The Japanese development was responsible for so much Nintendo 64.
Yeah.
It's really weird to think of
Yeah,
non-Japanese companies. And so he said it's part of a series,
yeah.
and so it's something 64 probably.
Oh, yeah. I guess I don't know that.
Or I mean, yeah. Grand Theft Auto was on Nintendo 64, some weird version of that,
I don't think so.
like a top-down one. Oh no, that's PlayStation. I don't know where to go from here.
Yeah,
3 questions left.
probably shouldn't have asked all those silly questions at the beginning.
Well, they could help in the end. What did I play with people?
That's exactly. It's like. I mean, the only things I keep flashing on are like Smash and Mario Party and GoldenEye and like all the games that it can't be.
Should we ask does this critically acclaimed thing help at all, or
Do you think is it helpful to know if it's like a shooter or a fighting game, or I mean, it's with only 3 questions left.
fighting game?
Could have been StarCraft 64.
That's good. Is that multiplayer?
I mean, I presume so. I actually don't know.
That'd be so stupid if that's what it was. I don't know. I don't know where to go. I mean, it could be like Tony Hawk,
No, but it's exclusive to the N64.
I don't think did we get it exclusive to N64?
3 questions.
What about that snowboarding stuff?
1080 snowboarding was made by
Japanese?
Nintendo.
Wave Race?
Yeah, I know they're all first party games.
Are those all
Mario
first
Kart,
party?
Diddy Kong Racing.
But definitely those racing games are?
Yeah, Wave Race and 1080 snowboarding are for sure. I don't know about some others.
What are we missing?
You
Damon,
got 3 questions.
Damon, what game are we missing?
Let's get another question out here. It's been a while since we've had a question.
I mean, N64 era was like my era.
Okay.
Did Shadows of the Empire have multiplayer? Like, I think that was just a single player Star Wars adventure.
Yeah,
Turok Dinosaur Hunter?
Was this licensed?
Wait,
Those are
wait.
both licensed games.
Could be Turok
Yeah,
Dinosaur Hunter.
for sure.
Was this a licensed game?
Yeah.
No.
Ah! Hopes
Yeah,
dash.
but that was good. We got those all eliminated.
If you freeze frame here, you can pinpoint the moment where Justin gave up. I was so sure that it was Turok for some reason. Could still be Cruising USA.
I think. Yeah.
San Francisco Rush.
Yeah, I know. There's all these dumb racing games that we could go for. They're really popular at the time.
I mean, we got
Or what about brawlers? We got Gauntlet Legends.
that was on
Gauntlet
on PlayStation 2 as well.
I played a 64 Gauntlet game.
Yeah. The dumb racing game thing.
Oh, what about like dungeon crawly games? Did those exist?
Yeah.
Baldur's not the Baldur's Gate.
I mean, I think about that stuff mostly as being on PC in that era.
Yeah. Was this? Should we just ask if this was on PC also?
It was an N64 exclusive. What are you? What are you
I
doing?
forgot about that.
What are you doing? What are you doing over
I think
there?
we got it. We're waffling around a lot. We got to bring it home.
Well, that's because it's only 2 of us.
Is this a? I mean, I feel like I just want to ask if it's a racing game, and if not,
All right.
is it a racing game?
No.
Okay.
Not a racing game. That's
Well,
19.
Oh, somebody just texted me. Maybe that was the answer. No, it's not
just
the answer.
no, just about work.
Not the answer.
Andres hasn't been much help here this whole time.
Yeah, Andres, what? Any ideas?
Yeah. Yeah, but that was made by Rare. But I mean, I like where your head's at. I was so sure it could be Doom 64.
GoldenEye for sure. You rolled that one.
We got
In the absence of anything else, I'm gonna guess. Is it?
It's not Doom 64. That isn't a multiplayer.
None at all.
No, we just played it.
we
Really?
did play it recently. Yeah,
Wow.
it's actually pretty fun
Yeah.
and playable.
I would have never guessed that. I had that game and it was one of my favorite N64 games, but I guess I never considered that there was no deathmatch in it. I don't know.
Is it Space Station Silicon Valley?
No, it is not.
Okay.
Okay, so the question that gave me a little trouble. This game is developed and published by Interplay. Are they still around?
I would say no.
Okay,
No.
I didn't think they're still around.
Wait, hold on. If it's
So-
Interplay, it's Rampage 64.
No,
Oh man.
Good guess though. Like all those Midway games.
it is the third game in a series.
I still don't.
Wait, hold on.
Was it Mortal Kombat?
It is a fighting game series.
Clay Fighter 64.
No, Clay Fighter 63 and a third.
Oh.
So dumb.
Clay Fighter 63 and a third. The first two were on Super Nintendo.
Yeah, Interplay.
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 Yeah, 1997. That's why when I felt like it was when you asked
That
if it
was in
multiplayer.
97?
97, yeah.
Man, okay. Clay Fighter.
You said multiplayer. I said yes, and I thought it was my
63
enthusiasm
and a
might
third.
give you a hint there.
I remember the print ads well.
Yeah, you were
Yep.
dancing around the whole fighting game genre.
That weird snowman.
Never got there.
Oh
It's a good
yeah,
one.
that guy was scary.
That's what the snowman was a hat. At least one. And then about the voice thing, I'm sure there was digitized. I would guess there was digitized speech in
yeah,
that game.
yeah.
Not much of it.
I never played it. We should get that game.
Yeah.
We'll pick it up and try it out.
Are you sure it's not in one of our bins in the game library?
I would think we would have pulled that one out if
Yeah.
it was.
I've actually never played any Clay Fighter game.
Me neither.
You're not missing much.
But the idea is that they used the Donkey Kong 64 era, not 64, country era
Yeah.
graphics of pre-rendering to make it look really cool. So they actually had they probably used clay or a model similar to that to position it, take a picture, digitize it. So they had really good animations of things
Yeah.
walking around and looking like clay.
Yeah, I mean they made 3 of those games, so some people played them.
63 and a third.
Well, okay, that's a good suggestion from Eric Woody.
A good suggestion?
I think so.
A good suggestion?
Well, or would you kind
I
of?
did know the name of the game.
Yeah.
We almost got there. If we would have.
No, we would have never gotten
Well,
there.
we zeroed in on racing game instead of fighting game,
And then we didn't have an answer.
If we wouldn't have burned those 3 silly questions, I
What would it have been if there was a racing game? We would have guessed Daytona, Cruising,
would have guessed cruising.
Rush the Rock.
Yeah, Rush the Rock.
There's
that
3
was the
different
one.
ones.
Yeah. All right. Before we go this week, what are we playing this weekend?
Oh man, I'm playing RimWorld.
Which one's that?
It's a really good PC simulation game where you have some colonists that crash land on a planet, and then you have to make a colony and
This
plant
is the Dwarf
food.
Fortress game?
Yeah, the Dwarf Fortress game.
Is it all text?
No,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
It's a Dwarf Fortress like game.
yeah. You're just growing food and building structures and mining out ore and stuff
Yeah.
like
Sure,
that.
when it's No Man's Sky, you don't like it.
But you control the colonists.
And this is on PC. You're playing on Steam.
Yeah.
Isn't Dwarf Fortress known for having a very large possibility space?
Yes.
A lot of different.
That's
things
how this game is
This
too.
game is too. Cool. I like that.
Not to the degree that Dwarf Fortress is, which is that's its whole shtick. But
Yeah. Okay.
Fun fact: for many years before I worked here, I owned dwarffortress.com.
That's not the only domain you at least used to own. Right?
Yeah, I used to own sr388.com, which is the
So
planet
did
the
you just
Metroids
let
come
that
from.
Did you let that evaporate?
Yeah, actually not long after I worked here, I was taking a look. Domains are cheapish, $10 or $15 a year,
Yeah.
but I own 30 or 40 of them, and then I just let go of that whole part of my life.
You didn't
I
do the
don't-
thing where you start emailing people that might have the rights to try to sell it?
I just didn't even bother. I'm just it's fine. I'll just let them all lapse. I'm a busy
Okay.
man.
Sam, what you playing?
Stardew Valley. It started a
On
couple
Switch,
weeks
right?
ago. And I have a pig, but I only got the pig to get truffles, and then I just bought truffles at that random store with the cart. It made me so mad. So now I have this useless pig. Does nothing for me.
But you like the game, right?
Yeah, it's so good, and I'm completely addicted to it, and everything that people say about it is true.
Yeah.
My hands hurt from playing it on Switch so much.
Wow. Yeah, it's taken me a long time to get to it too, but I'm also playing Stardew Valley finally and enjoying it. But then Darkest Dungeon came out last week and kind of distracted me from
On Switch?
that's
crazy.
from Stardew and kind of pulled me back into Darkest Dungeon because I played that on PC and then on PS4 and now I'm playing it again on Switch. It's just awesome.
Is there anything new that pulled you back in on Switch? Or is
There's
it
no
just-
new mode. It's the game. It's just like out again on a system that I love and I'm using a lot. So
They've been supporting it since launch. Like if you played that game at launch, there's a bunch of new stuff from
yeah.
then, but
Yeah.
the Switch version in particular doesn't have anything exclusive.
Yeah.
yeah.
Good match for a system, though.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Seems great on the Switch. All right, I think that's all the scoops we have for you this week. Remember, you can always reach us at the email address gamescoop@ign.com. Want to send a very special happy birthday message to Overlord of the Superfans, Matt Jones. Happy birthday.
And happy birthday to you, too, Damon.
Thanks, guys. Thank you, Justin. Thank you, Sam. My name is Damon. This is IGN Gamescoop, and we're out.